WrestleMania 5 with the Brainbusters taking on the Strike Force in the Trump Plaza. That was your first WrestleMania, and at the time, your only WrestleMania for until 18. What was that experience like? Because obviously, you know, you were doing so much work with the Four Horsemen, and now here you are in the WWF and Brainbusters WrestleMania. What was that experience like? Because at the time, WrestleMania was and still is one of the biggest shows of the year.
Yeah, and you know, the crew was not, well, I won't say the size, but I guess the point I'm trying to make, everybody didn't get on WrestleMania every year. It was like a reward for the years, guys that got over, hard work, guys that have been loyal, all those good things. You got a spot on WrestleMania. And then that one, we had a great team to work with, Martel and Santana, right?
Yep.
Strike Force.
Yep, Strike Force.
And God, what a good looking team they were. And we were basically just a vehicle for them to shoot their angle with Martel turning heel. And we knew that. It was an honor and a privilege, you know, only being there the short amount of time that we had been to be in a match. And they trusted us to pull this angle off for them. It was a big deal. WrestleMania week is a big deal. It's an event. It's a happening, and the fans come from all around the world to come see it. The number of different nations, I guess, that are represented fan wise that week is just something to behold.
Yeah, it's turned into quite a phenomenon with every organization and wrestling coming together in that one weekend as well, and enjoying the fruits of everyone's labors. But you know, Bobby Heenan was, you know, the manager of the Brainbusters. Before we wrap this up, I need to hear a Bobby Heenan story, because Bobby Heenan, to me, greatest manager of all time. Maybe we can argue that later on, but I think Bobby Heenan is the greatest. Do you have a Bobby Heenan story that you could share?
Well, just in general, who he was and what he was, more so than an individual story. Bobby Heenan, like if he came in and sat down beside me right now and I went, Bobby, I like that hoodie he's got on. Before I could get on out of my mouth, he would have a joke or a dig or something coming in right behind it. He did not have, I don't think, past about an 8th grade education. I think that if we do your research, that may not be totally correct, but it's pretty close. Yeah. But he was just brilliant, you know, and the things he said and the quips and the intelligence with which he spoke. And make no mistake, if you ever saw Bobby have a talent grab him and run him down the apron and run him into that post, Bobby Heenan could take bumps as good as any wrestler in the game. So he could wrestle, he could talk, he was intelligent, he was a great representative of the company. And when you were part of his family, you got an immediate rub that you were going to be used properly. You were going to be a top guy. And when they started the Weasel chant, buddy, you might as well just hang on for a minute, because it would deafen anybody that was in that arena. And it was just because Bobby was so over.
Yeah, Bobby Heenan. Again, anytime he was in the ring, those Weasel chants and him actually wearing a Weasel costume is it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in wrestling. And it is quite an honor to talk to you about him.